Hi again, everyone. This is another reaction video to one of the winter collaborations. This one is Mistakes and Forgiveness, featuring Sakuatsu by Piklagos. And they always do Sakuatsu, and I just love all of their Sakuatsu stories, and I'm just really excited to see how this one goes, especially with, all the words that we had to choose and how different all the other stories are turning out from like what I decided to write. So as always, I'm super excited to see how this video goes. And I'm excited to watch someone else who also did Sakuatsu in their story. So yeah, let's get to the video.
Is present, whether it be the piping hot sun scorching unprepared skin amidst the summer turning into the finger blistering frost of the winter. Sakusa never enjoyed the winter, or the summer. In fact, he didn't like any of the seasons. Each invited their own drawbacks and faults. And what was the point in having a favorite period of time when in the end, it would only pass?
Because it keeps coming back.
For no one, and whether he liked it or not hardly mattered. Changes are inevitable. Though the uncertainty it brought was hardly desirable. For the past 3.5 years, Kayumi's life has been fairly consistent, tireful, draining, stressful, packed to the brim with excruciatingly painful headaches and perhaps numbing, even. The joy of the holidays didn't lessen that in the slightest. After high school, he followed in what his parents told him to pursue, which landed him where he suffered now, nearly 4 years into a physics degree he's probably never going to need. Every day felt like living
what about the volleyball player he should
be? It was
be?
Terribly lonely. Somehow today of all days pushed him to the edge. Only 2 days after Christmas Day, the 27th of December, stores, restaurants, bars and cafes have now reopened and are packed with people so cheery he almost feels sick. He turns up the volume of his headphones to drown out the chatter, and suddenly he's able to enjoy the semi-damp tender air brushing against his cheeks, the peaceful stillness of the winter weather, the glow from childishly decorated lamp posts and the reflective star perched on top of a large Christmas tree. On sad days like these, Kayumi likes to sit himself down at a bar and make himself enjoy a pint or two until he's slightly tipsy. Today he has to be a little more selective. He settles for a petite bar positioned on the edge of a quiet street. He opens the door. Immediate eye contact. Fuck. Of course he should have listened to his gut and stayed in. Maybe if it wasn't for the absurd bell on the door, the boy, no, man at the opposite side of the room wouldn't have spared him a glance. He watches a grin fall off the man's face and turns into something unreadable. Shocked, sad,
it's gotta be Atsuma, right?
Shit.
Who he
the
sees.
Last thing he ought to be doing is questioning the look on his past lover's face.
Past lover?
Definitely wouldn't be enough to scorch the image of Atsumu Miya from his skull. Had it really been 3 years already? It went by so quickly yet so painfully. Atsumu looked like a whole different person. Definitely broader, maybe a little taller, hair a different color, fuck, still just as attractive. But he already knew this, and it was definitely not the time to be thinking about Atsumu's charming looks. He sees the now bleached blonde subconsciously mouth a word that he himself doesn't know. As soon as the beer glass in Atsumu's hand reaches the table, Kayumi's out the door. He must have subconsciously turned his music down because the crunching sound of snow behind him felt deafening. Omi. His voice is loud but quiet, delicate yet uncertain. And it sends Sakusa's stomach turning. He didn't know what to do, what to say, if he should say anything at all. He halts, and almost wants to turn around. Judging by the silence, Atsumu hadn't a clue of what to do either.
You guys can't tell this, but I'm literally like on the edge of where I'm sitting, just like trying to figure out what's happening in this, so like, this is a great start.
And left him with false hope. Omi. Sakusa's lips give a quiver, his hands squeeze in his pockets. He doesn't move when a hand grabs his shoulder because, damn it, the owner knows he's allowed to. What you doing running away from me, eh? Atsumu's sarcastic tone would be comforting if he didn't go into straight up panic as soon as Sakusa turned. Eyes were quick to scan him up and down, then he gulps, and fuck. Sakusa tries his best to not find it.
So Sakusa still likes him.
Sorry, I just thought never mind.
So what broke them up?
Later and it's back to awkward silence. It's been 3 years. What is there to say? How you been? His eyes give a glimmer of pain that is so similar to the first time Atsumu let himself cry on Sakusa's shoulder. His heart aches. He feels like running. Fine. He's been nothing close to fine. Such a contrast to how he felt when he and Atsumu were together.
What a lie.
Fuck.
Saying fine is just such a lie in general, though.
Not ever. How are you? Good. Me and the team just had a match, so we're out for drinks. Sakusa nods in acknowledgement.
Sakusa's not on the team!
Shit. You thought I didn't see ya? Playfulness returns to his tone. Atsumu is smiling, well smirking, and it sends flowers but also knives to his heart because, oh my fucking god, he got caught. Now he really ought to run away. That tall, lanky, grumpy guy in the crowd wasn't ya? Forget the pints, the answer was shots. Sakusa's head turned away in panic. So it was. The joy in his comment sends a flutter to his heart in a way that hurts so bad. He really can't do this. He can't look at him. Not without eagering the memories he had locked away safely in the bottom of his porcelain heart. So precious that he wished to never forget them but never have to think about them again. I thought you came to see me.
God,
I
this
thought we could
is
finally talk again, but I didn't see you again.
not what I
Glad
was
called you.
expecting
I
when
think
I
we
was
ought to talk.
starting this
Sakusa
video.
wasn't a fan of that idea and it must have shown on his face. Omi,
I didn't expect them to be broken up at the beginning, but now I want to see them get together.
Please, I can't. He takes a few steps
Because
back
clearly
and his skin
Sakusa
crawls
still
like a
has
frosty
feelings.
feeling on
You don't
his
really
neck
get
and his
into
face burns
Atsuma's
at the
thoughts, but
peculiar
clearly
warmth of the setting
Sakusa
sun
still has
protruding around
feelings.
Atsumu that he needed to get
It's
away
so
from.
cute
It's been 3 years.
that he
Please
still
let
has
me through.
feelings, not the
Me, I
whole,
can't
like,
right now. Achu, is
them
what he
being
means.
broken apart.
Then
It's
when?
just,
Never. Come on, Omi. His tone is feisty.
I'm
yet
rooting for the
fragile.
best for them.
I need answers or I might go insane. 2 paces forwards and he grabs him by either side of his coat, his head facing the ground and almost resting his head on Sakusa's chest. You left me, and so fucking suddenly too, without an explanation.
Oh,
You know how
Sakusa
shitty that
broke
was
up
of
with
you?
him?
You lied to me. Why did you lie?
But Sakusa
Atsumu
seems
had
to
every
still
right
like
to
him.
feel
Why would he do that?
upset, confused. He curses his past self. Do you know how long I spent waiting for you to reply? Weeks.
Years?
Damn
He
it.
waited
How stupid
years?
was I? His hands are
Sakusa.
starting to shake around Sakusa's coat. A croaky undertone rolls uninvited into his speech and Sakusa knows he's on the verge of tears. We were in high school. Does it matter? Atsumu finally looks up, and no doubt his eyes are glassy. Sakusa almost chokes when his skin runs laps again. This is so childish. He's being childish. Wrapping his arms around Atsumu and whispering into his ear apologies was all he felt like doing. How stupid. You know damn well how much I loved you, and you loved me too. Fucking hell, Omi. Why'd you break up with me without explanation? You promised me we'd try again in the future. Why'd you say that if you knew damn fucking well that wasn't the air plan? You were family. It wasn't just a damn high school relationship. I was serious about you. And I think you were about me
Omi,
too.
I was thinking of O
You're
names.
so conflicted and
Sakusa, how could you
I
leave
know.
him?
I'm sorry. Atsumu takes a sharp inhale and a tear finally drips from his eye. I don't want your damn apology. I wanna know why. Atsumu, I really can't do
You're
this
gonna
right
have to.
now.
You ran into
Despite how
him.
much it pained him, he attempts to pull himself away, his instincts ordering him to run, but there's a tug at his sleeve. I'm not letting you run away this time. I loved you so fucking much. I did too. And still do. Was left silent as he had
There has to be a good
unfortunately
explanation
looking
for
into
this.
Atsumu's eyes was
Why he
gut-wrenching.
left.
He felt so much guilt. The immense urge to wrap him up in a blanket and cuddle him until the end of time was awfully prominent. Then, Atsumu, I really fucking can't do this. This was all too sudden for Sakusa. He hadn't been left enough time to process the lost key yet now found key to his most treasured memories. Atsumu gives a sniffle. If I leave now the chances of us ever talking again is extremely low. I don't think I can reason with that. A shaky breath and the delicate brush of fingertips against Atsumu's palm. Then don't leave. He ignores the drum in his chest beating him to death. I just need a little time to think. This is a lot, but I'll give you all the answers you want.
I told him what
It's
to
never
leave.
been my goal to intentionally hurt you. I care about you too much for that. Atsumu
He doesn't
grabs
want him
onto
to leave
Sakusa's
again.
wrists. Are you scared? He wipes the tears from his cheeks and studies Sakusa's facial expressions. I suppose so. What are you scared of? A lot of things. Thinking about you. Opening up is silent. He trusts Atsumu. He would never belittle his feelings. But opening up is a daunting task for anyone. Then fine, I'll let you think. I admit I jumped on you kinda impulsively. Let's just talk for now. Certain you'd take off to Narnia if I gave you the chance. I'm in Tokyo for the next few days anyways. We'll have other opportunities. Now he can see that Atsumu had barely changed. Taller, still shorter than himself. Bulkier, maybe a little more mature, sure. But he's still the exact same person. Still a boy. Just as impulsive as he remembered, and it was comforting to know he still felt safe to cry in front of him. Not spending the holidays with your parents? He shakes his head. Granny fell ill. Ma and Pa rushed over to her since it could be her last Christmas. Fuck, I'm sorry. It's fine. We weren't exactly close.
Fair enough.
She didn't like me much. Granny Chiyo. Nah, you never met her. She's on my father's side. Atsumu had mentioned her a few times before, but the conversations were short and snappy. Nothing good, but she was still his granny. Still, I'm sorry. What about Osamu? He's spending Christmas with Rin's family. They are finally together. I know, right? Thought they'd never stop pinning, damn it. They were sickening. Awfully sickening. The worst. And now that he's got his little boyfriend, he thinks he can piss off and leave me all alone. Stupid Samu. I hate him. No, you don't. Atsumu cracks a smile and the water still occupying his eyes glows in the dulling sunset light. It's cold, the temperature in the negatives, but his face feels oddly warm. Bo invited me to spend Christmas with him and Akashi, but that seemed like a crime. Bo? But you're so stupid. 1 year older than us. Oh, he's on your team now, right? You literally came to my match and you're telling me you didn't notice him? No. He hadn't. In fact, he barely knew won the match. Too busy staring at Atsumu.
Yeah, that makes sense for Sakusa. Just focused on Atsumu.
But up close like this.
I'm still surprised he's not playing volleyball, but I guess following what your parents' wishes is very
either you're being dramatic or it was that
unfortunate.
bad. It wasn't that bad. I've just never spent Christmas alone, so it was weird. What did you do for Christmas then? Yeah, parents in town? He snorts. Like hell his parents cared about him enough to see him more than twice a year. At least it was mutual. He'd much rather spend Christmas alone anyways. It was nothing close to special anymore. They moved overseas. Atsumu is taking aback but he takes a step forward. Really? Shit. When? 2 years ago. It's not like I care. You know how I felt about them. Still, they are meant to be your parents. I'm 20. The job of a parent never ends. Try telling that to my parents. Aren't they the only reason you went to college? Regret will get me nowhere.
Yeah, they don't care enough to like see him, but they're the ones who pressured him to go to college for physics. They have no right. That's
that or he's just
no
got
right.
balls of fucking steel. I've always been alone. He gives his hand a tender squeeze. That's not what I asked. Of course he gets lonely. Atsumu's the one who taught him how it felt to be truly alone once they broke up. Can't he see that's why it's so difficult to look at him now? Because for once, being alone doesn't feel good. I suppose you didn't spend Christmas with Komori? Friends? Friends? Right, my bad. I forgot you hate everyone's existence. Touche. Does that mean we're alone this Christmas too?
What about
Smart
Komori?
Get your sarcasm
I guess Komori is spending
can't tell if he hates or
Christmas
loves
with
how easy it to speak
family?
to Atsumu. 2 years of talking
His
to
significant
absolutely no
other?
one unless he had to should have fucked his social skills for good. Albeit Atsumu's the one mostly talking. That means we were alone together. What? You were alone. I was alone. So casual it's nerve-wracking. Your point? We were both alone? He isn't making any sense. Hey Omi. He takes another step closer and holy shit the confidence this man has. There isn't much space between them. Sakusa's eyes are expressionless but behind them was a whole other world that Atsumu seems to see as he turns his head ever so slightly upwards to meet them. Yes. You're busy tomorrow? Not exactly. Why?
Yes.
Let's spend Christmas together.
Spend Christmas
It's the 27th
together.
of December. Atsumu now stares at Kayumi's chest. It'll be like a redo.
You
Plus
gotta
this,
have the
things
tough
we've got to clear
conversation
up.
of
Tomorrow,
what
okay with you?
happened.
I can cook. Just send me your address. Shit, do you have the same number? Atsumu's confident attitude is starting to crumble. In the end he's just as nervous
No.
as Sakusa. I do. So you really have been ignoring me this whole time. I'm sorry. It's not okay but I'm sure
It's
you
not
have your
okay.
reasons
And
for
if
it.
he doesn't
And
have a
we'll
good
talk
reason,
about it tomorrow.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
upset.
Tomorrow. Yeah, sounds good. Text me. Okay. There was nothing weird about this, right? Ex-lovers meet 3 years later.
Yeah,
and have Christmas
ex-lovers
dinner
is
all the
weird.
Time, but Atsumu wasn't just an ex. He's the only person he's really loved. Sure, he loved Komori and his aunt, but this was
Ex-lovers
different.
is weird.
He's never
Sorry,
dated
was watching the
anyone
video.
else. Not only
But,
because
like,
finding someone he
they
loved as
both
much
still
as he
care
did
for each
Atsumu
other,
was
so
bound
they're
to be
gonna talk it
agonizing.
over.
But
I'm
because
really
he knew his own
hoping,
insecurities
'cause
would
that
make
would
their
make sense
relationship
in my
precious
mind.
burn to the ground. Again. I will. Promise. I promise. His eyes are watery again, but he offers a smile before diving in for a hug. His hands grip so tightly at the back of Sakusa's coat they are shaking. Atsumu. The hug was unexpected and desperate, but he embraced it.
He won't.
Don't
He
you
won't
run
run
away
away.
this time.
I have a
I
feeling.
won't. He feels like running. Like keeping Atsumu secured in his memories, but that would be unfair to the both of them.
Atsumu deserves an
Running last time
explanation,
only
and
got him right
Sakusa
back where he
deserves to
started,
explain.
brimmed with regret. He sure as
So
hell
if he
wasn't making the
runs,
same mistake twice, even if
It
it
just
kills
won't
him.
work.
Sorry if I'm being childish. Haven't matured as much as I thought. His subtle laugh is hitched as soon as Sakusa returns the embrace and he's curled tightly into his neck. This is what he's missed. What they've both missed. They're safe. I'm really glad I've seen you again. I've missed you. The honesty makes Sakusa's heart skip a bit and he knows he can be honest too. About everything. And it will be okay. I've missed you too.
Anytime they show
More than
any
Atsumu
sort of
could
like
even begin to imagine.
relationship, I get so excited.
The 28th of December brought a new atmosphere, soothing, welcoming, the scent of home and Mama Mia's fresh home cooking. Instead it's Atsumu Mia in his kitchen, cooking the soup his granny Chiyo used to make every Christmas. There was no turkey. In fact the rest of the food he brought wasn't traditionally Christmas food. What did battered cod have to do with Christmas? He wasn't complaining. He'd be lying if he said he learned how to properly cook and take care of himself. This would be his first home-cooked meal in possibly 4 months after the time he failed to cook spaghetti.
4 months?
Atsumu
And now
cooked.
he's
He
cooking.
was damn good at it too and had only
my
gotten
gosh.
better. He seemed relaxed in the kitchen, much like he remembered Osamu being. In the end, however, Atsumu lived and breathed volleyball whilst Osamu's passion resigned in the culinary industry. What did my food ever do to you? He points out how Sakusa hasn't touched the soup in front of him and is glaring at it. Or maybe that was just his face. Nothing. His mind is just too busy pondering the first Christmas he spent with Atsumu's family and how the soup looked exactly like how he remembered. He was also busy worrying about the inevitable conversation of what happened that he spent the whole of last night thinking through every varied outcome. Damn this wretched world. Did I accidentally leave a bull testicle in there or something?
A bull what?
I'm kidding. It's good. I'm not so bad at cooking. I'll be the judge
Jeez.
of that. Maybe if you
Scared
shoved a damn
me.
spoon in your mouth you could give me a rat in. I'd say mine's better than Granny's, but nothing beats the real thing. They are sat side by side. cross-legged at Sakusa's coffee table. It's calm yet tense, the calm emulating from Atsumu and the tense from Sakusa. They both could definitely feel it. As soon as the spoon hit his tongue, all hell broke loose. The memory of laughter as he sat at Atsumu's concerningly large table with his absurdly large family breaks loose. It was loud but comforting at the time. It's just how the Mias were and he could definitely get used to it. They were a loving family, one where he was loved too. How stupid was he to leave a family like that? What are you thinking about? Huh?
I really need that explanation of why he left.
What do you think? There was an obvious answer. Yeah, that worried that I managed to put you off your food. It's not that serious. Sakusa gives him a look that says, don't bullshit me, little boy. Okay, it's serious, but you can worry about that later. The look is still glued to his face. You wanna talk about it now? I didn't say that. If you're gonna keep on worrying, I think it's best we talk now. I wanna enjoy this with you. It's been a hot minute. Sakusa gulps and prepares himself for what he assumes to be the most frightening talk of his life. Even scarier than the time his father scolded him for accidentally knocking a ball over his neighbor's fence when he was 8, which ended with a slap around his face. He supposed his methods worked. That ball never went over the fence again.
Oh my gosh, Sakusa's dad. If I ever meet him in real life, why I oughta.
Sakusa immediately turned so they're eye to eye. Atsumu could not be further from the truth as shown in his expression. Don't look at me like that. You gave me so little go off of and you know how overactive my mind is. Pretty sure I thought of every possibility and that one made the most sense. He gives a low chuckle. Seems I was wrong though. He nods towards Sakusa's still confused face. I don't know about you, but I haven't dated anyone since. We're kinda similar in a sense. Sakusa hasn't a clue of what he's on about, but he lets him continue without interruption. Under the surface, he and Atsumu were more alike than they seemed. It took a lot to let myself trust you. It's hard to let people in, but I knew I could with you. Yeah, like that too. We were strangely compatible and there's no way I'm gonna find someone like you again. Most people didn't really understand the volleyball thing, but you're just as obsessed as I am. He gulps and places his spoon back into the bowl. Fuck, I'm rambling. I don't know where I'm going with this.
This makes me sad that they broke up in the first place.
I didn't stop loving you. He cuts him off before he can manage to form another rough attempt at a sentence. But I lied when I said we could try again in the future, because I really didn't think we could. I did want to though. Atsumu stays silent and Sakusa takes it as a hint to continue talking. Aside. I read all of your messages, even cried over a few. I was just so ashamed and embarrassed because all of it could have just been avoided if I opened up my mouth and told you what was wrong. Maybe then well, yeah. Atsumu is listening attentively, latching onto every word. I instantly regretted it when I broke up with you. Fuck, I think I cried for hours. But I was convinced you'd be better off without me. He almost misses how Atsumu's
not better off without you.
Did I ever make you feel that way? You did nothing of the sort, which is why it makes me so mad thinking about it now. You were like my cheerleader through everything, always there for me. I was just so young and dumb, so damn insecure. Fuck, I'm still so young and dumb. I've aged but I don't think I've matured in the slightest. The laugh Atsumu gives is comforting and it soothes the blood coursing at a deathly pace through his veins. When I moved here for college, I felt so disconnected from you, well everyone. It was around the time my parents proved to me that I was just some pawn of theirs to play at parent and take their frustrations out on. They never really loved me and wanted rid of me as soon as
Sakusa's parents suck. But Atsumu, he shouldn't have let go of Atsumu,
more noticeably closer this time and presses
sometimes thoughts can become too much, and I understand where he's coming from with that.
I've never really had good mental health, but this is when I hit rock bottom. I'm really sorry I never told you because the breakup was none of your fault. I feel so
bad for both of them. I'm glad they're finally able to talk it out though.
You down and that you'd be better off without me. I even thought for a spell you didn't love me, which was fucking ridiculous. He sighs and looks up to Atsumu. I was told my whole life that parents loved their children no matter what. I forced myself to believe that even when my mother was screaming at me, or when my dad was beating me. My world was suddenly turned upside down and my mind went haywire. Unfortunately you had to suffer the consequences of that. Holy fuck, if only I'd just told you what was wrong. I was so stupid. There's a thoughtful silence as Atsumu thinks through all the new information he's been given. You were in a dark place. I can't blame you for that. Don't justify what I did. I could have at least given an explanation. Then maybe I wouldn't have left you worrying. I'm not saying that you weren't stupid.
Yeah, he was stupid.
Right you were. An explanation at the time would have been perfect. Maybe then we wouldn't have broken up at all. He notices how Sakusa's head drops in shame and he releases a fond laugh. A hand cups Sakusa's right cheek and forces him to look at him. But it's already happened, and I can see where you were coming from when you made the call. Doesn't mean it was the right one. He holds either side of his face tenderly. And it's okay, you don't have to worry. I messed up at you. You did, and I've forgiven you. Cause how can I fault you for making a bad decision when your mind wasn't in the right place? Why aren't you mad? I could have avoided all of this so easily. Fuck, I lied to you. Sakusa looks fragile. He feels fragile, which is why Atsumu wraps his arms around him as a safety net to stop him from cracking. Cuz Omi, I don't know when you'll learn this, but I'll keep on pounding it into your thick skull until you believe me. But, you deserve forgiveness too. And it's okay to make mistakes. He pulls back ever so slightly so that their foreheads are pressed against one another. And sure, it sucks that you weren't able to tell me this at the time, but it's okay, Omi-kun. Even if it has been 3 years, I'm proud you finally could. He knocks on his forehead. You hear me in there? It's okay you messed up. He knew Sakusa was a
you're the
perfectionist in his own
best.
way. His parents made it clear from a young age that mistakes would not be condoned and would be punished in not the most humane ways. Of course Sakusa ran away each time he made one. Of course he ran further and further away from Atsumu when he broke up with him because he considered that to be the biggest mistake of his life. He ran away because whether it was subconscious or not, he'd constantly have the image of his father chasing after him after a fuck up. His instincts were to mistake. As long as Sakusa acknowledged his mistake, how it had affected Atsumu and could give a genuine heartfelt apology for it, in Atsumu's eyes, he was more than worthy to be forgiven. The past 3 years had punished them
Atsumu is
not
healthy
already.
for
Now was
you.
time to
Your
tie together
parents
broken
can
strings and live the
go
way they
die in a
wanted from the
ditch.
beginning.
But
Stay the
Atsumu.
night. Sakusa offers orders once they're done eating. Wow, Omi, if I knew it would end like this, I'd have tracked your apartment down and broken myself. Yeah. You staying or not? Is that even a question?
That was so incredibly cute. And like, not in the way of like, oh my gosh, it was so fluffy. In the way that it was, he was, whew, it's in the way that Sakusa finally got the ending that he wanted, and Atsumu finally got the explanation he wanted. Now, in this, there isn't really like a part 2, so always assume happily ever after, or that's what I always like to think. But it's the idea that Sakusa found someone who he can be himself with. And it's so adorable that it's Atsumu, someone who's healthy, someone who can like see him for him and relates to him on like a deeper level. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's so well written. That story was awesome. I was literally on the edge of my seat trying to figure out like Sakusa's explanation, and they like dropped hints throughout the story that it was because of how his parents raised him, how like he felt like he couldn't make a mistake, and then he met Atsumu, and it was just, oh my gosh. I know I'm rambling. I just can't get over how like cool that story was. And anyways, that was a really good story. Big Locos, guys, like, I've watched some of their videos before, and I really love their series, and I just love how they write Sakuatsu. It's just so entertaining for me to see how they write Sakuatsu. So, like, if you have not seen their video or their channel, please go watch them. I really recommend them. I love their channel and their videos, and it's all good. It's all good. Anyways, that'll be it for this. I will see you later. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much for support.